Good morning. How's everybody doing? I've met all of you already, so that's a good thing. I'm gonna talk on this side of the stage since everybody seems to be on this side of the room. But thank you for being here to listen to what I have to say. I consider that an honor. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Ryan Jundt, and I work with a group called Cannabis Property Brokers of Michigan. So I had a thought this morning that I thought you would all appreciate, okay? And this was the thought. If everybody in the entire world used cannabis right now, two things would happen. You know what those two things would be? Number one, immediate world peace. And number two, immediately after the world peace, we would have a complete food shortage. So anyways, that's my joke for the morning, and I thought it was a good one, so I hope you do as well. So whenever I listen to somebody speak, one thing that's extremely important to me is I want to understand, why am I listening to you, and why is what you're saying even important for me to regard? So with that being said, I'm going to unpack who I am a little bit. That way I can prove a little bit of value of my experience here and what I think I can share with you this morning. So me personally, I've been an entrepreneur since I was age 15. I was the kid that was cutting grass for the neighbors, painting houses, doing whatever I could to make money. That resulted in me being named the Entrepreneur of the Year when I was 17 years old by the Detroit News. I was the first person to ever do that under the age of 30. That projected me into being a small business owner, buying and selling a couple businesses, and then ultimately landing me back here in Michigan, working in the real estate development sector. So the group that we work with, we are real estate developers, okay? That's what we do. We do multifamily housing, we do commercial real estate, and so we've been buying and selling for a long time. About 4 years ago, we heard of this thing called the MMFLA. By a show of hands, who knows what the MMFLA is? Okay, well then it's good that you're here. So if you're here at this conference, I would assume that in one way or another, you're looking to participate in the Michigan medical marijuana market. And if you're looking to do that, then you really need to understand what the MMFLA is. In explaining to you why the MMFLA is important, I'm also going to be able to unpack a little bit more about my background. So here's what the MMFLA is. First of all, MMFLA stands for Medical Marijuana Facilities Licensing Act. So in a vacuum, basically what you have is you have the Michigan medical marijuana market is taking a shift. And it's taking a major shift from what we call the caregiver program, which was our first legal program that was rolled out in 2009, and we're shifting into a commercial medical market, okay? A lot, and we can unpack that more, would say that that's been a build-up to have a rollout for recreational, which is up for vote here in November. So why is MMFLA important, and more importantly, why is it important to real estate? Because that's why I'm here to talk to you. So here's MMFLA. You've gone from the current model that we're in now, which basically says, hey, you can be a caregiver, and you can have patients, and you can have a total of 6 patients, including yourself, right? What does that mean? That means that you can have 12 plants per patient. So as a caregiver, you can grow a total of 72 plants. Well, MMFLA is essentially doing away with that. And what they're saying is, hey, we know that this is not just a caregiver patient market. This is a commercial market. So under the MMFLA, you have 5 license types, right? You have a grower, and within grower, you have a Class A, which is 500 plants, a Class B, which is 1,000 plants, and a Class C, which is 1,500 plants. The important license in that to remember is Class C, okay? Class C is the license that the state says is stackable. So if I have a building, and that building is 500 square feet, and I get it approved for a Class C, then I can say, hey, state of Michigan, I want to stack 20 Class Cs here. Now, a lot of you laugh to yourself and say you can't fit that many plants, Ryan, in a 500 square foot building. The point is, it's not based on square footage in Michigan. It's based on plant count, okay? So if you're looking for what would be a quote-unquote unlimited license, then you want a Class C license. The second license type is provisioning center. In the state of Michigan, we do not use the word dispensary. We don't like that word. There's been a lot of lobbying against that word, but we use the word provisioning center. So a provisioning center, for everybody that comes from out of state, that's your dispensary. Your third license type, and there's no caps or limits on that for patients at all. You have to check a valid ID, or medical ID card, and other than that, there's no real limitations. The third area is processor. So processor is simply taking marijuana out of any form other than the plant form and turning it into anything else. That's the easiest way to think about it. So literally, if you take marijuana and you turn it into a pre-roll, okay, for example, then that is a form of processing. If you change it into oil, that's a form of processing. If you make an edible, that's a form of processing. There's no limits on the amount of volume that you can do, and again, there's no square footage restrictions whatsoever. Okay, the fourth license type is a transportation license. So anytime that marijuana crosses a public highway of any type, not private road, but public road, federal road, state road, anything other than a private road, basically your driveway or parking lot, it is required under the MMFLA that you use what's called a secured transporter to take it from point A to point B to point C, okay? That's extremely important. The fifth license type is safety and testing compliance. This is if you test the product, if you help with safety compliance on a facility, things like that, that's your license type. So all of your labs that you hear about in other states, do not mix that up with the processor. Processor or manufacturing, here it's called processor, are very separate than lab and testing and safety compliance. So your iron labs, your the Spot, people like that in Michigan, those are your lab testers, and that's the fifth license type. So the interesting thing about Michigan, and why we started taking a look strongly at the MMFLA as a group, is everything ties back to real estate. You cannot do anything under the MMFLA unless you have a municipally approved piece of real estate. You can go submit a pre-qualification in the state of Michigan, which will basically say yes or no, we accept you as an applicant, we accept your background check, we accept your finances, we think you're a good person that we're going to give a medical marijuana license to. But you cannot get your phase 2 and you cannot operate without real estate. So the logical conclusion, because we're all smart people, would say, why would I go spend the time and effort to see if I can be pre-qualified if I haven't even taken a real look into the real estate side and actually being able to operate? It doesn't make much sense, right? So what we did about 4 years ago, actually particularly the gentleman sitting in the front row here, we started saying, okay, if we even want to participate in this MMFLA, and at that time it wasn't even a real thing, it hadn't even been passed yet, how do we capitalize on this market? And the thought there was, well, let's put our ear to the ground and let's start thinking about which cities are actually going to participate in the MMFLA. So under the MMFLA, the whole state of Michigan said, this is our medical marijuana program. However, the municipalities get to decide a few things. They get to decide who gets to be a participant, how many facilities of each license type they want, and what the zoning guidelines are going to be to approve these medical marijuana facilities in their city. So for example, right, City A can say, hey, we're going to do 1 provisioning center or dispensary, right? Then City B can say, hey, we're going to do 3 provisioning centers, 1 grow, and 2 labs. And then City D, right, because they're the guys that really appreciate making sure that they get all the application money from people, they're going to say, hey, we're doing unlimited everything, guys. We're a free-for-all. And you're like, I don't understand. You're one of the smallest cities in Michigan. How does everybody get to have a medical marijuana facility here, right? This is where vetting and understanding all of these laws is extremely important. So what you'll realize, the tie back to every single municipality is their zoning, right? So if I'm in this example, municipality D, okay, and I say, hey, we have unlimited provisioning centers, right? take a look at my zoning ordinance, because more than likely my zoning ordinance is only going to spell out 10, maybe 11 buildings that you can actually house one of these facilities in. So a huge mistake that we see and that we've frankly learned by is when you see a municipality opt in, don't just run to that municipality, submit your application, and hope for the best. You have to really understand the zoning and where these buildings will actually get accepted. If you don't do that, I can tell you from experience that you'll spend a lot of time and a lot of money securing real estate that frankly is worthless otherwise. So in Michigan, there's 1,773 municipalities. That is broken down as 276 cities, 257 villages, and 1,240 townships. Out of those 1,773, only 103 municipalities have opted in, okay? So that comes in right above 5% of these municipalities. I can tell you from experience, and being involved in the buying and selling of these properties for the past now 2 years strongly, that the municipality opt-in rate is not increasing. It's just simply not. So there's an isolated amount of municipalities that have said, hey, we're going to allow this. And even furthermore, inside of that, you have an isolated amount of municipalities that have said, here's an isolated amount of properties that we're going to allow for this use, right? So bringing you back to my story and why we are here and why I'm speaking to you about this is we started buying these properties. We've had a lot of misses and we've had a lot of wins. But the way that we did it initially was literally going out, deploying our people, our attorneys, our staff to go hit the ground and talk to these municipality leaders, okay? And an important thing to remember in Michigan is go into your municipality, build relationships, understand who's the shot caller, understand who makes the decisions, and actually hear from them what building in that municipality even has a chance of getting green lighted. I'll give you a story, okay? And it's a painful story, but I'm telling you so that you don't make the same mistake. So for example, and I'm not going to use names and I'm not going to name municipalities, but we had a municipality where we literally had bought 30 plus acres. And our goal was to build our first business park. Just so you know, there's a happy ending to this story that I'm going to tell you, and we'll get to that. But we were going to build a business park. Not only did we go through the zoning, but we also got a letter from the township supervisor, literally signing off, hey, what you guys want to do, we fully endorse it. We applied, everything seemed great. We went into that first town hall meeting where we thought that our license would be presented to us. The people ahead of us got their license and we're excited. Here we go, win for the home team. And guess what happened? Literally, before we get handed our license, a pastor and his entire congregation from the church come into the town hall meeting and say, hey, we're against this business park. We don't want it to happen. The board literally shifted and they said, hey, we're going to put a moratorium, and we've already ordered steel buildings for our business park. I mean, this is how crazy these dynamics become with these municipalities, right? So I say that to say, the safer you can be, the better, right? And the safest bet ever is buying a property that already has a municipal license in place. So after going from 3 people to 6 people to now 20 people, employing 5 in-house counsel, an entire IT team, an entire marketing team, an entire team that literally all they do is prep our municipal applications, we decided, you know what? Rather than be operators, if this is a problem for us in the state of Michigan, coming from guys with a long, lengthy history in real estate, this has got to be an issue for the guys that grow marijuana. So that's how Cannabis Property Brokers and what we do was born, right? So what we did is we started going into these municipalities and we started securing the real estate with our own money, buying the real estate, getting it licensed, and then giving our operators or the people who buy from us a clear path to acquire that real estate from us, and then in whatever way that the municipality tells us, transfer it over to them in a way that's acceptable. So, needless to say, we've learned a lot in this arena and what to do and what not to do. Some key points, just to recap, that I want to make sure that I'm capturing for you is this. Number one, don't waste your time, and I mean this. I mean, you can strategically plan, but how many people are involved operators in this industry now, in one way or another? Okay, great. So you understand if I make the statement, hey, this industry is literally dog years, meaning a day is a week is a month is a year. You understand what I'm saying, right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? God bless you if you want to go out and you want to look at municipalities that are in your backyard, or you think have a great demographic and everything's great and the traffic counts are perfect, and one day you heard that the mayor may or may not opt in. If you want to sink your money into that real estate, again, go for it. However, if you actually plan on doing something in this industry, and I think the guys who are operators now will agree with me, it's 100% about execution and your ability to be able to pull the trigger and execute. The first thing that you want to make sure that you do is start looking in a municipality that has actually opted in and has established those laws, okay? The second thing that you want to start doing is you want to start taking a look at that municipality's zoning maps and where these green zones or medical facilities can actually be established. The third thing that you want to do is once you've established those, you want to go and check and balance with that municipal leader, whether it's the township supervisor, the township clerk, the township attorney, whoever it might be, that, hey, I viewed your zoning maps, am I interpreting it correctly? Because what we've learned is that there might be Mrs. Smith around the corner that township mayor says, hey, Mrs. Smith lives around the corner and she's already been picketing at our town hall meetings that she doesn't want cannabis in her town. You might want to stay away from that building, okay? After you've done that, you want to take it through the municipal licensing process, and then once it's fully approved and you actually have a license in your hand, then you're good to go on your real estate. Location, traffic counts, especially on the retail side, don't get me wrong. Those are very, very important factors, but I can tell you from experience in the state of Michigan, I know of a building that's located in a town of 995 people, okay, that grosses anywhere between $6,000 and $10,000 a day with 2 staff members. Hear what I'm saying. 995 people in the town, okay, way up north, grosses $6,000 to $10,000 a day in sales with 2 staff members. You think that if you were thinking location, demographic, how many people, that would have been a good choice? No, but if you're thinking, hey, what municipality has opted in, and how do we actually develop Michigan into a viable market, and how do I get to be one of the guys that actually has a state license and actually gets to operate, then he probably made the right choice. Do you guys agree with me? Okay, so those are the important things to focus on when you're looking at real estate in Michigan. Outside of that, I want you guys to realize that this is literally the second largest medical marijuana market in the country, period. Okay? We have more card holders now. It's reaching the mid 300,000 range than Colorado, than any other state. We're second only to California. We literally have more medical card holders in the state of Michigan than in the entirety of Canada. The market's huge. You have to understand this, that literally you have a system, right, called the caregiver model that is strategically being dismantled, or at least put back to what it was created to be, which is just that, you selling to your 5 patients, right, as a caregiver and nothing else. And it's shifting into what's called the MMFLA, which is, in turn, in my opinion, a roll-up into the recreational market. And you're doing all of this in the vacuum of the second largest medical state in the country, 300 and something thousand patients. So if roughly 30%, or let me put it this way, if 350,000, because we're going to reach that goal soon, patients in Michigan, right? You can only imagine what that number actually looks like when this becomes recreational. So the question that I would ask you, whether I'm selling you a property or not, and I mean that, is if you're seriously taking a look at getting into the medical marijuana and then eventually recreational market in Michigan, what would you wait for other than a time as this? You're literally at the pinnacle of when a current system is being dismantled. You have the opportunity to get into a new system, be on the ground floor of establishing that market, a highly regulated system, but it has a clear path to being licensed. And then you're doing all of that before the state launches and rolls out recreational and get to be on the ground floor of that. I hear it all the time. Oh, you guys are about to go recreational, and then all the margin goes away. First of all, I don't believe that. I think it's a good business no matter what state you're in. Second of all, I tell them that's great. So you're going to tell me that our whole market is shutting down. Literally all of our supply chain off the caregiver model is going completely away, right? You're now restarting just now growers and processors. As it sits now, there's only been 11 growers approved in the entire state of Michigan. And somehow you getting to be a part of that and supplying the 300,000 card holders with their product isn't a good business decision. Oh, and on top of that, here, let me drop a nugget that a lot of people don't know. By the way, if you are not part of the MMFLA, in the first year that recreational is rolled out, right? Because the state has clearly said, hey, we're going to take a full year to roll out recreational. Okay? If you're not a part of the MMFLA, meaning that you haven't secured your real estate and you haven't applied for a phase 1 and phase 2 license with the state, guess what happens to you on day 1 that recreational is rolled out? You get to sit on the sidelines for 2 years, and the state's going to go to all of the Medical Marijuana Facility Licensing Act facilities, MMFLA, and they're going to let them roll out recreational first because they vetted them, they know who they are, they're experienced operators, and the state takes a position that, hey, these guys took the first step forward in compliance and doing what we're asking them to do. So they give you the first swing at participating in the recreational market. So guys, I get excited about it. I think you can tell that because it's just simply a huge opportunity. Supply is going away. Demand is going up. Right when things might stabilize a little bit here, then guess what happens? We go recreational, and now everybody 21 and over gets to enter into a cannabis facility and partake. What do you think happens to your demand then? And do you think, especially if you're an operator sitting in this room, do you think that the supply has caught up with demand at that point? No, no way. So with that being said, I want to encourage you that if you are looking to participate in the MMFLA, in the Michigan medical market whatsoever, and soon to be Michigan recreational market, that you take a hard look at where you want to be, at the municipalities that have opted in already, and you start making decisions. And again, to recap, has the municipality opted in? What does their zoning look like? Will it even fit for my business? Have I met with the township leaders or city leaders to understand that what I'm thinking will even work? And then can that actually get approved based on all of the knowledge that I've gained? That being said, I do want to tell you this is truly meant to be a help to you, and I hope that it has been. But what we do at Cannabis Property Brokers of Michigan is we've done all of that stuff that I explained to you in great detail because now I've lived it, right? And the gentleman sitting in the front row has lived it as well. We've been through that. We continue to trudge through it. But we have an inventory of literally not green zoned, okay? Not this city's going to be awesome one day, right? And here's why. Not, hey, the traffic count's awesome here, but none of that. We have a full inventory of municipally approved properties that we can show you through our legal team and through our staff and through all of our knowledge and experience that we've built, a clear path how to transfer that license into your name, and then you literally circumvent all of that process. I have a booth in the hall, and I have I think enough packets to put in everybody's hand. I want to put one in your hand of our currently marketed properties that I'd love for you to take a look at, and we'd love to help you anyway. We're a team of real estate agents and brokers, but the most important thing with us, and remember this, is we took the risk first. We were the guys that 4 years ago invested the money, invested the capital, invested the time, invested the effort, right? Literally deployed upwards of $80 million into the marketplace. And we've taken the risk. We own these properties, and we feel like we've prepared them for what's coming in Michigan, and we're super excited about it and super excited to work with individuals like you who are looking to be successful and speed up your timeline to market. So with that being said, I want to open up the floor for any questions, just a show of hand. The lights are bright, but I can see you. So any questions, because I'm more than happy to answer any question. Yes. So no, we entertain those conversations very much. Obviously, the amount of time that we spend dealing with a township leadership to answer their questions and kind of bring our expertise is decided on what their level of interest is. But we do that when the time is appropriate. Yes. Any other questions? Yep.
So, houses purchased and have put through the local municipal zoning license approval.
Uh-huh.
How do they get transferred to how does that licensing or approval get transferred to
Yeah, so good question. The answer is this. Every single municipality is different. There's not a clear transfer process. One technique or transfer process that a lot of municipalities accept is simply that when we garner that municipal license, right, there's a representative, of course, that gets a background check, but we put that license in an LLC specific to that property. Then when you buy the property, I'm making you now the member of that LLC, but in turn, you may have to go in and do a few page background check. But at least you know that the property's been licensed, it's all checked out. And then, if there was something upsetting to them about the individual, then, we would try to help you through that process. But our guarantee, at least from us, is simply that, look, sale or lease contingent, we are going to guarantee you that municipal license is intact at the time of sale.
The properties in which you've already purchased and communities that have opted in and you've gone through that process, have they given you any indication or anything affirmative as to what their transfer mechanism would be?
So that's something you got to understand about this industry. A lot of these regulations, because it's so new, are constantly being developed. However, now we're at a point, at least our group specifically, that yes, every municipality, when we come into that municipality, we're very explicit and clear about what our intentions are, and therefore understanding what the transfer process looks like.
The reason I'm asking is because I represent a group that is looking for property.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure that purchasing property through a group like yours that's done that comes at a premium, but then if there's not
Yeah. So the bet.
a guarantee,
100. So our yeah. So
they're not going to go through the whole darn thing.
100%. Look, if everything that I just said, it's literally meaningless unless you have a license when you buy or lease a property from us. And so yeah, our guarantee, again, sale, lease, contingent, that municipal license is transferred to you before that sale occurs, or at the time of sale, I should say. With that being said, I'm going to take some more questions, but I want to give you the happy ending. I can't believe I almost forgot. So remember the guys that kicked us out or put the moratorium on our business park? We now have unveiled, if you're local, you would have seen it on either Channel 7, Channel 2, or the Oakland Press or the Detroit News. We have a business park in Oakland County, which if you're not from here is, most would say, the nicest county in the state of Michigan. Used to be one of the wealthiest counties in the United States a few years ago. But we put up a business park, 300,000 square feet, 24/7 security that's built in. We literally offer 3 different unit sizes: 6,666, 13,333, and 20,000 square foot units, ready for you to move into. Literally, it's the only place in Michigan that you can give a first month's rent, 2 months security deposit, which is what we require at the time of lease signing, and get not only a municipal license, but also a beautiful new building to operate your business out of. And we support every license type there. So grow, lab, transport, and processor. We do not have provisioning centers there. So just so you know, we were able to literally take those buildings that were being built and transfer them to this beautiful land in Oakland County, and now it's been a huge success. We're about 90% leased out, give or take, and our first building is just being finished here at the end of November. So if you want to talk about that as well, for people who are either testing the Michigan market initially and don't want to commit to a land purchase, or are have their $2 million or $1 million worth of capital and need to figure out how to make that work without expensing a lot of that capex on land acquisition, that is a good scenario for you. Sorry, I just wanted to fill you in because didn't want to leave. I know you guys were all sitting on the edge of your seats, really worried about that. I did not want to leave you hanging with that sad story. That's the good ending to that story. Any other questions?
So that's the one in Lake Oregon, correct?
Yes, sir. Yep, that's us.
So what about Elkhorn Patterson here with his in Oakland County not liking this whole industry? So how are you getting by that?
I mean, so Orion opted in. Orion seems to like us. Orion seems to like the other facilities that are going up as well. And I mean, people have their opinions. So, I personally, if you want to know my personal opinion, coming from a kid that grew up in Oakland County for some of his life, I think it's a good thing. I think there's such a stigma on this industry, not understanding how it actually helps people, and then also just like the people sitting in this room that I'm talking to, or people like me, or the people that I do business with on a daily basis. Until you're in this industry, you have no idea the professionalism and expertise and regulation that you have to deal with. I mean, there's highly competent, highly professional people in this industry that are willing to bring jobs to the state of Michigan. I don't care if it's Oakland County, Wayne County, or Aranet County. I can't understand how people would not be happy with that.
No, I agree. Look,
Yep. Look, we're in, things are shifting, right? And they're about to pop, and we're in that weird place right now. But it's getting better every day, I think. So, any other questions? Cool. All right. Come on if you want to. Don't be shy. Okay, we're good. I think we're good. Okay, sounds good, guys. Well, am officially over my time. So I want to thank you again for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be hanging around here. I do want to make sure that I get a pamphlet with our properties in there for you. And then other than that, come see me at our booth, Cannabis Property Brokers. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.